Find out who says lights, camera, action, and let's make some magic with this morning's guest. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Bell & Bell, Buick, Pontiac, GMC at the intersection of Highway 9 and 31 at the Big Red Bell. We're focused on behind the scenes of this show, Carolina People, and we're visiting with the owner of Lucky Dog Television Productions and PR Smith Public Relations, Donald Smith. Good morning, Donald. How exciting. It's been about a year and a half since you were on the show.
Probably about a year and a half, close, yeah, year and a half.
September, almost 2 years, September of 2005, and we were in the Myrtle Beach Herald studio there, teamed in with Fox 43 on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. Why has it taken this long to get you back, Donald?
Well, I think I was on because I was interviewing you, correct?
You know, I think you might have been interviewing me. That's right.
I actually, for 2 days maybe. Or I don't. Maybe it might
I think it was. I think it was 2 days.
Yeah. I actually hosted the program.
That's right. That's right. I was a guest on my own show.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was right before the little hiatus. And
do you go back and watch those interviews often?
No.
Come on, tell the truth.
I will not watch this.
You will not lie. And you won't watch this.
No.
Well, of course, the great thing is now you can, a week after this airs, or by next Monday.
Right.
By next Monday, today's Wednesday, July 18th, by next Monday, you'll be able to go online to CarolinaPeople.com.
Right. I have some of my father's family that's actually out of state, and I will. They would be disappointed, even though I don't want to watch it. They would want to watch it. They're out in California and Kansas City and stuff, so they'll have an opportunity to go online and see it.
Yeah. The great thing is, I saw the other day, if you go in and Google Carolina People as 2 words, you get about 80 million results. CarolinaPeople.com is #1 in the world. I mean, it's a tremendous vehicle there to get the word out. And, of course, for some of the guests, tomorrow and the next day, Joe Paschal, Lieutenant Colonel Paschal of the U.S. Marine Corps, will be with us. And the excitement is this weekend he's heading back to Iraq. So he'll literally be able to go online next week along with the general there with him in Iraq, or make sure, I'm sure his general will want to make sure he didn't say anything off color there, but the opportunity to really get the word out worldwide.
Right,
web
people back there. It's really, really unbelievable what's available out there, and then what Carolina People is taking advantage of it.
Right,
I mean, it's,
right.
Because the program is such that there's the guest. Some of the information, some of the stuff they talk about is timeless. So if somebody didn't get to see the whole thing or would like to go back, for prime example, last week your father.
Yes, last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So maybe some law students in the future would like to go back and get some information on him or whatever. That gives them the opportunity. So y'all are really taking advantage of the way that things have changed, and
that you and the folks at Lucky Dog Television Productions and PR Smith go out of your way to make sure it's easy for us to do this.
Well, it's a group effort, as you know.
Sure.
But the technology's out there, and Carolina People, I think that they're at the cutting edge of it. They're above the curve.
You went top of the line in equipment, Donald. And a few years ago, you updated everything, soup to nuts. I mean, even these fancy little lavalier mics, I don't know if viewers can see these, the difference between when we were even 6 months ago, when we were at location Johnny Rockets there at Broadway at the Beach, and you have a difficulty at times. So, but you've been updating constantly over the years.
Right. We totally went digital a few years ago. For the purpose of the future, and if I may, you opened up a kind of a behind-the-scenes thing about the microphones. For prime example, Johnny Rockets, and that was one reason that we decided to go ahead and make the move with the lapels that we have now, because of all the ambient noise and the decision that being Myrtle Beach Herald's the major sponsor of the program,
right? Sure.
And we try to go on location to their advertisers.
Absolutely,
no different.
Like
We're here,
Bell & Bell here today, and all week.
So it's a plus for the paper, it's a plus for their subscribers. But then also what that does, as far as a technical side, it can lead into some problems. For a prime example, we're in their showroom. You might hear the speaker go off
like right there.
Right,
Alan.
exactly.
Yeah.
And people walking behind. I kind of like that personally. That really doesn't bother me. But some people might find that it is a little annoying.
Right.
So that's an issue we have to deal with behind the scenes. The lighting here, usually in showrooms of car dealers, the light, it's open. It's a lot of glass, and so we have to deal with the outside light, trying to balance with the inside light, which is kind of difficult.
Right.
But I think the trade-off is so good for the viewer at home, and then for people like this that are loyal to Myrtle Beach Herald, and being the Myrtle Beach Herald is the sponsor of the show, it's something that we can do for them to highlight their people, because we got to shoot someplace, and sometimes studios can get stagnant. And as you know, since we started this, every week's different.
Oh yeah.
There's some exciting places.
Absolutely.
Some videotape easier and better than the others.
Sure.
But it's still. I think it gives the viewer an opportunity to see something a little different than just a studio setting.
That's a great point. Of course, when we were there at the Herald and Fox Studios, I still owned the station, and so we could take advantage of having the big Fox logo behind us. It was more a Fox and Herald show. Obviously now no longer owning the station, it's great to focus on Herald client locations. And of course, as you said, just like the speakerphone there where they're looking for Amy or Angie here in the showroom, the same opportunity. Last Friday we had a child, if you remember, when the last day of the 3-part series with my dad, the kid there playing skee ball behind us. And of course, earlier in the week, on Monday and Tuesday, we had those skee ball machines turned off because of just that fear. But on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, I think you said we want to have them up.
Right.
I like the little stuff in the background, and it was cool. The kid it was a little difficult to focus on Dad right there at the end of the 3-part series, but it gave an opportunity. We greeted him, and hopefully he felt upbeat that we took the time to think about him as a child.
Right. And a lot of times we don't have that worry because we do shoot so early.
Right.
But usually when we're here, it draws attention, and whether they just open the doors or whatever the case may be, lights and the cameras draw attention. So people come, and even though we're at a location early, and sometimes they're not even open, but they but people are walking around, whether they're people want to see what we're doing or that sort. So that makes it a little difficult too. It's not there's nothing better as far as a director, the technical people, than a studio setting, because you control everything. You control lighting, audio, you control everything. Here it's a little different, but I think the trade-off's well worth it. I think it's for the viewer at home, not just for the Myrtle Beach Herald, because of it's something they can give back to their advertisers. And and I don't know if people know what I'm talking about, but the Myrtle Beach Herald, if you're an advertiser of theirs, you have an opportunity at no cost that we go to your location just as a perk of being an advertiser.
Sure, there's certain there's certain needs financially. We want those advertisers to be long-term advertiser folks that spend on a good basis.
Right.
But absolutely, it opens the doors for lots of advertisers.
So I think it's a plus for the Herald, and I think the people at home enjoy it. It's just not a stagnant studio.
Right. I'm so glad you highlight those things. Speaking about the Herald, and that's special about the Herald, but what about P.R. Smith and Lucky Dog, Donald? Y'all are doing a lot these days, and we enjoyed the golf tournament this past weekend that P.R. Smith helped to arrange, which was very exciting up there at Barefoot Resort.
Yeah, for the sheriff.
What's
Lucky Dog
all about?
Okay, two different companies. We'll talk about Lucky Dog a little bit. We produce this program, and we also produce another program called River Talk.
Talk.
It airs on a different channel at 8 o'clock.
Right, where folks could tune in about 30 minutes of Banana Jack.
Jack Murphy,
or the CW.
CW now. Hard to get used to for me saying CW.
I know.
I'll be honest, I don't even like that. I don't know where they came up with that.
CBS, Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, but it's the CW.
This place is pretty active at 7 a.m. Donald. Hear these people? They're really going strong at Bell and Bell here at the.
And I got a great story about this place.
Big
I'll
Red
tell you
Bell.
when I finish the thought, but. We do another program, and it's similar to this program also in the fact that it's we deal with local issues basically, and where, for a prime example, the host of that program, Jack Murphy,
Banana Jack,
had been on the radio for I think 18 years or something here locally, and recently was let go, and they've got a syndicated show.
Hot Beer and Nuts or something. Yeah.
Something like that.
Crazy.
Replacing, and there's no telling where that's coming. It could be out of Chicago. Michigan. Is it Michigan?
Yeah.
That's why I think that River Talk, Carolina People, and the Myrtle Beach Herald are so important, because they deal with local issues.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Good Morning, you've had, over the years, you've had some unbelievable clients on, or guests on Carolina People.
Oh, yeah.
But chances of them getting on television through Good Morning America,
right.
Today Show, you know, it's slim and none.
Right, sure.
What it does, it gives a local person that has something to talk about. You know, a local fundraiser for the American Heart Association,
sure,
for a prime example.
absolutely.
They might have somebody there on a national level, but this is where your local dollars are being spent,
right.
and it's the local people talking about it. It's the local people raising money. You're highlighting them. Where some media is getting away from the local, I think that the market's stronger than ever for it. And there's a need out there and a place. Another example, the Myrtle Beach Herald, and I'll brag on it a little bit. Last week, I think the article was written 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it was about that the county council, the chairman had canceled the meetings in July.
Right.
And Myrtle Beach Herald, they had a reporter, Paul Gable, did a story, and he found out that it's a state law, you have to meet at least once a month. Council members got, from my understanding of it, and through my public relations, my PR firm,
sure.
You know, a few people call me, that got some interest started in the council, but they read that article.
Right.
Wasn't broke in the daily papers. Wasn't done on the news. It was done in the local weekly newspaper, Myrtle Beach Herald.
You got it.
And they said, well, if it's illegal, we don't want, you know, if it's a state law, we don't want to do it. They called a special meeting to, so they would be legal,
right,
would
sure.
do it right. And that was done from that local newspaper.
Absolutely.
Myrtle Beach Herald's done a number of articles, been the first to break news. I mean, a bunch.
Sure. What's still on the newsstands right now on the front page is the piece about Barry Landreth.
Right.
As you know, the guy, the Herald unearthed it.
At the
guy
very
who was
beginning.
the pavilion developer, and everyone was catch-up. Sun News, everyone was catch-up. After that, and it's difficult for a weekly, as you know. A daily can pound an issue for 6 days before a weekly has a chance to get back in there and touch the subject. But at the same time, the readership level there is very intense because they can read it all week long.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost unheard of that a weekly breaks a story to those degrees above a daily.
Right.
And you know, and I'm not saying anything about the daily.
The Sun News
they have
sure.
have their places.
Star
but if you're
News.
wanting local news, about local, because no different than River Talk, this program, the Myrtle Beach Herald, you know, is it 6 different highlight? I mean, you know, Veteran of the Week.
Yeah, it's 4 or 5 now a week.
Okay.
That's right. The Veteran of the Week, the Public Servant of the Week,
Right.
the Public Safety Profile, of course, the Herald Subscriber Profile. Now every week a Realtor of the Week. You know, Kent Strobel was with us yesterday. Our the broker in charge of Herald Real Estate. Yeah, Herald Real Estate's kicking off. And please thank Banana Jack when you see him for giving me some exposure not long ago when I was on River Talk last Tuesday, I believe. Very exciting, the opportunity for me to be here with you and with our viewers every morning on Fox. But of course, the opportunity to get on another station, as you said, to really get into local issues. And please thank HTC for me. Those folks are crackerjack. All they do to support that show, and that is localism to the hilt.
Right. Well, in HTC 11, well, we're going into the 12th year now. When we approached them 12 years ago about doing a local program, they bought into, this is what we need to do.
Oh, yeah.
And no different than the Herald, you know, because it ties in perfectly with the Herald because of local, being local.
Right.
And I think it's just a service that a lot of people, such as radio stations, are getting away from, just going with the national, because it's cheaper, they make more revenue, and it's a commitment from the Herald, from HTC and stuff to say, no, we're going, if you're a church and you're going to have a bake sale and we can help, let's help.
Absolutely.
If there's veterans in this area that have fought for this country and so we need to highlight them, it's a revenue. So y'all have done really, really well. We're just glad to be a part of it, Lucky Dog.
Yeah.
And we do a number of things with Lucky Dog.
That's right. Lucky Dog's a lot more than just River Talk and Carolina People.
Yeah, anything within the broadcast.
You do a lot of the high school sports events, Conway High School, I believe.
Yeah,
the Christmas parade there in Conway. For how many years have you been doing that?
Oh, gosh, probably
forever. The Sun Fun parades a couple years ago, and for many years. We hope that'll come back to Ocean Boulevard. Beach Ball Classic is huge, and y'all broadcast that on the net for many years.
And last year alone, it was, I don't know if you remember, we were the final game.
Right.
Because HTC, we're a partnership with HTC and the Beach Ball Classic.
Right.
And then they have their technicians on spot. They the final game. At one point, there were people watching from 48 different states.
Wow.
In 16 foreign countries.
I love it. I love it.
And so
probably a lot of agents or those folks checking out potential superstars,
I would think
coaches,
so,
and others from all over.
I mean, and that's another thing about the technology that we were talking about earlier. What that does, coaches, whether they're junior college or Division I college, whatever the college is, they know that brings some of the best talent here.
Right.
Instead of coming here, they can. And John Rhodes, we haven't worked it out, but he wants to tape every game this next year instead of just a winner's bracket. He wants to not.
You do them live,
yes,
I mean, close to live as possible. It's live.
Yeah,
streaming live.
Yeah, I think
Son of a gun.
I think it's like 17 seconds delay.
Right. We got less than 10 minutes, Donald. PR Smith, what's that all about?
Started that a number of years ago. I've been in the television business 20-some years, and in the political business about 18.
Right.
And just to separate the what we do politically in advertising from Lucky Dog, so there was no confusion. But we handle some political campaigns.
A lot of clients. My God, you've been handling winner after winner after winner.
We've got a pretty good record we're pleased with. And then we do some a couple of companies we've helped with some advertising in the past.
Sure.
And it ties in with what we do with Lucky Dog, but we got to keep it separate for a number of reasons. First of all, just because we have
access to the media.
Right. There's certain guidelines that we have to go on with the political client. We can load them up here on Carolina People, which we don't do.
No, of course not.
Sherry books the guests and stuff, but the same way with River Talk, we can't load. There's guidelines you have to go on.
Sure.
So I needed to keep that separate for my other clients that would not interfere at all, or even give the illusion that there was something that was different. So started that a number of years ago, but have been involved in politics about 18 years.
Who are some of the successful candidates, if you don't mind, just highlight a handful of your folks that have really
right now that we've got in office?
Superstars.
We've got been involved in 3 of the 5 delegations, the legislative delegation. Nelson
Hardwick, we love.
Barfield, Billy Witherspoon. County Council, we've got Brent Schultz, Bob Grabowski.
Not to put you on the spot, because there's so many folks you've worked with.
Let's see, Ron. We almost, other than the coroner and the auditor, every other elected official in the county, the probate judge, Deirdre Edmonds, the treasurer, Roddy Dickinson, Melanie Huggins, clerk of court, Philip Thompson, the sheriff. So we,
You've been involved in all of those, and the coroner and auditor they do it on their own.
They do it on their own. They
I'm surprised they. Of course, it's tough. Lois and the other gentleman there. It's tough to even imagine. Robert Edge, forgive me, that they need much more name recognition.
No, they're pretty. They're both great people. And they kind of handle their campaign. They've been there long enough.
Sure.
I think they're going to retire there. I don't.
They'll stay there until they step away.
And they're doing a good job.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. So many folks in the county, and it's such a big county, Donald. Of course, as you know, the bulk of our viewers are in the PD and southeastern North Carolina. As you remember, when we were filming Carolina People formerly during the ownership days of Fox, we would film a lot in the PD. Now we just have some guests on an irregular basis coming in from the PD, but it is very exciting to be able to reach out in this very large county, the largest county in the state geographically, a very large population center, and so many folks from all over that come in. It's amazing. It is amazing.
Before we have to leave, it's a pleasure coming up here to Bell and Bell this week.
Yeah, share with viewers your connection to Bell and Bell.
It was great when I first walked in. First person I had seen was W.C. Bell, who actually he's his portrait.
He's here early in the morning. We can't see his portrait, or maybe we can. That's right.
My father, when my father retired here, I don't know if he ever bought a vehicle from anybody else but WC. I bought a few from him. And actually, before he was here, he was a salesperson for Palmetto Chevrolet for years, and then he started his own. He's actually in Loris, and then he moved out here. But seeing him was such a joy this morning. and
did he connect to you,
yeah.
your dad?
I don't know if he recognized me right at the beginning, but I instantly told him who my mother and father were.
Your parents' names are?
Gertrude and Dillard Smith. Everybody knew him as Smitty when he was alive.
Smitty.
Now, my father wasn't from here. My father was an only child.
Right.
He was in the service. He met my mother. My mother was originally from here. She's an
Ainer native, is that right?
13 brothers and sisters.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah.
13 brothers and sisters? Where are they, Donald?
They're all here. They're
all over in O'Reilly?
All of them now. Every one of them.
All the ones that are living. Are
they're
your
all
parents
living.
still living, Donald?
My father's not. My mother is.
Your mother is. That's right.
My father was from Kansas, and he was an only child. His parents, when my father got out of the service,
was he at Myrtle Beach Air Force Base?
That's how he met my mother.
Right.
That wasn't his. He was only there one time.
Sure.
But when he got out of the service, he retired here. Just loved the area, and being that mother's family was so large and he didn't have any, and then his mother and father moved here. So
come on.
No, yeah, they moved here to be.
Your grandparents were here. How much of your life were they living in here? Did you spend time with them a good bit?
Oh yeah. It's let's see, over 30 years they've been.
Is that
my
right?
grandmother's still living. She's 92. She walks 3 miles every day.
Your father's mother?
Yes.
Yeah.
She
How
walks
exciting.
3 miles every day. She does 75 crunches every morning. She drives,
on.
yeah.
She's a 94-year-old?
92.
92. Are she and your mother close?
Yes.
Your mom and her mother-in-law?
Your mom is like a daughter to her, yeah.
Wow.
Because my father was an only child. And,
right.
So.
How amazing, Donald. You know, you think back, of course, for you, having grown up in the county, and you were reared in Ainer as well.
Correct.
Having grown up in the county and spending a lot of time, you've traveled all over the country, maybe even the world, doing stuff for FX, I know, the channel that's owned by News Corp, and so many other cable companies doing video work. What is it about O'Ree? We've just got a couple of minutes. What is it about this county, as opposed to possibly uprooting your wife and daughter and moving to somewhere else on one of those amazing shoots? You've been all over. What is it about this county that keeps you coming back and wouldn't allow you? And your wife is from Tennessee, right?
Tennessee. Yeah. It's really the people, and especially the area I grew up in. It's really not changed that much from the day. The rural part of this county, there's the greatest people. You know, it's still so now. I mean, if you're if you have trouble with your vehicle on the side of it, somebody's going to stop.
Right.
And it's
for the right reasons.
Oh yeah. They're going to stop and offer assistance. It's the people, and it's even though we have a lot of people that have moved from here, I think it rubs off. People joke about Yankees and people in New York and different things like that. But I think when an individual moves here, the hospitality, the Southern hospitality, rubs off. It really does. And it's the people that I've had an opportunity. We've had an opportunity with some of my affiliations in the business to leave.
Absolutely, sure.
But this is we've got a 13-year-old daughter, and this is where we want to raise her.
And Maryland has a great location in downtown Conway, Park Smith. Y'all have really taken advantage of that Smith name. I love that. P.R. Smith, Park Smith. That was very smart. Lucky Dog, is that Dog Smith?
Yeah, well, probably.
Smith Dog.
Well, that came Maryland actually named. I've been blessed over the years. I really have to work with some great people, no different than yourself.
Oh yeah.
And when we were thinking about a name, my wife said, and she's a big dog lover, and she
loves dogs.
And a friend gave me a T-shirt, and it had Lucky Dog. It had a dog driving a Cadillac or something.
Yeah,
she said, "You ought to name it Lucky Dog." So.
I love it. How about your daughter's involved in so much, Donald? I don't know have you ever talked about Delaney on camera?
No. She's she goes to.
She's a superstar on horses. Is she 13 now? I thought 13. She was 14.
No, she's 13.
That's right. She had the big birthday in Conway at the Peanut Warehouse and the train. I know, Emma Claren. I love that.
She rides horses. She's been showing horses since she was 5.
Oh, come on, 8 years.
Yeah, and she won. In the Sandlapper Circuit, she won High Point Horse and Rider of the Year last year, and she's in the lead for that this year. And two more shows to go, and so it looks like she's going to have another good year.
That is tremendous, Donald. What's the best part about being a dad?
Oh, gracious! I mean, just watching them grow and carrying on conversations with them, and knowing that that's part of you. And you know, we were talking with Elizabeth Cooper here a little this morning before we got started, and about her children, and that the personalities they get. You know, and it comes from you. And,
absolutely.
And just as you know, you miss them being little, but every day gets better and better too. I mean,
right. Good words, Donald. Thanks so much. We'll have to get Delaney on the show sometime.
We'll let you try.
Highlighting her prowess on a horse. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Donald Smith coming up next. You know, growing up, a lot of folks would say John Doe. I always said John Smith. In this instance, it's Don Smith. Real easy. Keep that name in mind. If you're ever thinking about running for office here in this county, phone number simple, 248-6060. If you're a small business or a large business, you're looking to get the word out, 248-6060. If you're also looking to have an opportunity to get out there and get the word out about a great nonprofit organization you're involved in, you can call to see about getting on River Talk. You can even call him about opening the door to get on Carolina People, 248-6060. Born in Aner. We're sitting over here in the North Myrtle Beach area right now in Little River. He knows the county well, soup to nuts. You heard him mention Elizabeth Cooper down there in Murrells Inlet this morning. He's got connections all over the county. A great one to communicate with, whether it's Park Smith or PR Smith or even that lucky dog. He and his family are committed to this area for many, many years. They'll be here to stay. 248-6060.